Infinex is the tip of the chain, the tip of the Kain Warwick chain, the most recent thing that you have committed your life to. Talk about that a little bit. Like, what's the thesis behind it? What is it? Why does the world need it?
Yeah, the thesis is on-chain Binance, which I think is something that has been around for a while. This idea that, we want to bring everyone on chain. I don't think that we were quite ready to do it. I don't think we had all of the tech in place to be able to do it, even though we thought we did. One of the interesting things about this new journey, stepping back from building protocols and building something that's more like a user interface, has been realizing all of the weird coping strategies as a DeFi founder that I think I needed to live by. So there's a bunch of stuff that has kind of popped out for me that I'm like, oh wow, we actually were a bit further away from this than I thought.
Mm-hmm. What is on-chain Binance? How would you define that?
Yeah, this is the interesting thing, right? Like if you talk to a lot of DeFi people, I think they would say, oh no, we've already got that. It's called DeFi. It's over here, right? And okay, let's break that down, right? DeFi over here is the Aave interface and the Drift interface and the Uniswap interface and all of these like interfaces that are individual features that Binance has, right? And for the average user, navigating a bunch of different interfaces, understanding how to connect to them, understanding that you bring your own wallet, there's no global account or anything like that, is very difficult.
Right.
And that's why they stay on Binance. But even more importantly, even if you believed that this were true, that this fragmented ecosystem of individual feature-based interfaces was better, we actually don't even have all the features, right? If you talk to a Binance user, and we've talked to a bunch of Binance users, we talked to people in a bunch of exchanges over the last 18 months, the average Binance user, if we walked down on the street and said, hey, Binance users, what do you want to do? We'll say, I want to deposit XRP. That's the first thing they want to do.
Right.
You can't do that in DeFi. There's no XRP. Not only is there no XRP, but we actually will then say, well, actually, you're an idiot, so go somewhere else, right? And this is the reality that like most of what centralized exchanges do, we talk a lot about trading volume and fees and all of, those are the things that make money. But what they do, like one of their core value props is they store people's crypto. That's it. They store people's crypto in a way where they're not going to lose it, right? So it's not self-custodial. It's, a ton of counterparty risk, but it's what people like. It's what people use. And so we can keep building, hoping that people will want the things that we're building, or we can actually ask a genuine question, what do you want? And then build that. And that's what Infinex is.
Okay, so there's a large cohort of crypto people, the deep crypto people who are very like values driven. Even if you're trading meme coins, like you probably still understand and appreciate the value of self-custody. And when this is something that we've been trying to espouse to the world. Let's get the world on chain. Let's get everyone some private keys. And I think we've done a good job of populating that corner of the internet with our kind of people.
Yeah.
And then maybe what you're alluding to is like, well, that effort has actually kind of been exhausted. If you are a self-custody crypto person, there's not that many of those people, those types of people out there in the world that we haven't already found and put into our corner of the internet. And so I think what you're alluding to is that Infinex is like the next step to getting the value of crypto ethos, like a Bankless Binance that can like reach out to the next further out concentric circle of crypto
exactly
people.
Who are in crypto. These are crypto users, like they're daily active Binance users. They're in crypto. They're as in crypto as I am. We just say they're doing it wrong, right? And the funny thing is, right, we've been building for enthusiasts, and if this were any other industry, building for enthusiasts would have failed utterly years ago, right? But crypto being what it is and tokens being what they are, there's such a powerful coordination mechanism. There's such a powerful monetization mechanism and incentive structure that we got hooked on our own supply. We're like, we are just killing it here. Like, this is amazing, right? Everything that we're doing is working so well, but we were building for enthusiasts and we ran out of enthusiasts.
Right.
And then when we ran out of enthusiasts, we buried our head in the sand and said, no, it's okay. We can make more enthusiasts, right? And the answer
We simply just have to teach them how
yes,
to be
yeah.
enthusiasts.
And like, I've said this a couple times, but some of the things that I believed, right? And I think maybe even in one of the conversations that we had, I was like, no, it's good that private keys are so hard to manage because it makes people appreciate how good they are.
Right.
And it's like, no, like that's not how we get adoption.
Yes for some, no for most.
Sure. And the sum is tapped out.
Right.
We've tapped out those people, right? If you think about it like Linux, right? There was a period of time where Linux users, and I was one of them, had this view that like the year of the Linux desktop was like perpetually next year. Like next year, everyone's going to work out Linux, right? The irony of ironies is that Linux dominates the world, but it dominates it by being the infrastructure that people build things on top of, right? And, all of the data centers in the world run on Linux. Mm-hmm. That's just what they run on. But we use Macs and we still use Windows machines, right? Like, and I mean, even there's an argument like, obviously OS X, has its Unix, history, whatever. But like, for a genuine end user, you need to control the experience end to end. This is like a very Jobsian thing, but like if you want to build good software, you got to build the hardware, right? Like you need to control the end to end experience, right? And we have a view at Infinex that if you want people to use crypto and be on chain, that you need to build an end to end experience, right? And optimizing for censorship resistance gives you a poor UX that only certain people are going to be willing to deal with, right? And so we are not censorship resistant, not today, right? But we are non-custodial. And that's the most important thing. We give people all of the things that are amazing about on-chain, and we're non-custodial. But yes, someone could censor us, right? Someone could shut down the system. We're not nation state resistant today, but my view is if we build a thing that is valuable enough, like those are technical problems that can be solved. We can decentralize, that infrastructure such that, maybe you don't get the perfect end-to-end user experience, but you can get something approaching it and we can get better and better over time. But you need to start with demand. If you have no demand for it and you haven't, built an audience and built distribution, then building something that is maximally censorship resistant, which again, we've been doing like in DeFi, synthetics was maximally censorship resistant. You can't shut it down, right? You can't even shut down the interfaces. We've got pinned interfaces on IPFS that let you do the things that will be there for the rest of time, right? And so, that is the fallback that we have. But we're trying to bring people on chain and you got to meet them where they live.
I want to kind of pop open the hood and take a look at what Infinex actually looks like from like the tech stack. Sure. We're calling this on-chain Binance. Binance has like a front end, an interface. It's also got like engines and custodial systems. How is Infinex similar? What does it have that's similar, and what does it have that's different?
So what Infinex does that is different to Binance is it doesn't commingle funds. So each user has their own account, right? Which is a smart contract or a program, or soon, right? We'll be using near chain signatures, so that you will have a smart contract that will control a wallet address on the Litecoin network, for example, right? And so you'll be able to deposit native Litecoin into Infinex and control it through this non-custodial interface, right? You sign a message using a passkey, and it will translate that message, send it to the Litecoin network. And I mean, it won't do anything because no one does anything with Litecoin, but like it'll let you put your Litecoin there, and it's a safer place to put it, right?
Because if you're a Litecoin user, that is what you use it.
That's what you use it for.
Yeah,
like more so than even Bitcoin. Like Bitcoin kind of pivoted away from just like a pet rock to like, it does stuff again now, right? There's runes and ordinals and L2s and all kinds of fun stuff that's emerged. Litecoin doesn't have that. Litecoin is like purely an asset that you hold, right? And same with XRP.
Right.
But there are huge segments of the market, and this is the really interesting thing, right? If you go down CoinGecko from top to bottom, go through the 30 assets, there's like 10 solidly that DeFi doesn't really touch, right? Or doesn't touch well. Maybe you've got wrapped versions, synthetic versions, but like you can't really get them into DeFi on Solana or Ethereum or Cosmos or like none of these ecosystems let you do that. And so Infinex gives you the ability to do that. It also gives you the ability to access the features that Binance offers as a full stack application running on a database on chain.
Okay.
So an example of that is if you want to margin trade, right? So if you want to margin trade, you've got some ETH and you want to use that as margin to borrow some stables and trade, we take you to Aave. Obviously, right?
In the back end, you don't take them in the front end.
In the front end, they just click a button and say, I want access to margin. I want to, I've got some ETH and I want to borrow, 1,000 USDC to trade Mudang. Cool. Okay, fine. We can do that, right? It doesn't matter that the ETH is on Arbitrum and is going to be borrowed via Aave on Arbitrum, and the USDC will then be bridged over to Solana or whatever. Like none of that matters.
Is Mudang on Solana?
I don't know. Actually,
let's act that it is.
Yeah.
So like I've got ETH on Arbitrum.
Sure.
I put my ETH into Infinex.
Yep.
I borrow stables on Arbitrum's version of Aave.
Yes.
And then Infinex will allow me to take those stables over to Solana and buy Mudang.
Yep.
And I don't know about any chain.
You don't know about any chain. It's completely abstracted away. I said this on Twitter the other day. I think that there's a large cohort of OG ETH people that have never done a Solana transaction.
Yeah.
Their first Solana transaction will be on Infinex. I guarantee you, like for the majority of like OG ETH people, their first time that they use Solana will be on Infinex without even realizing it.
Right.
They'll be like, whiff, okay, sure.
Yeah, that's fine because they can get the deniability.
Yeah, like it's not me, right? It's funny. It happened the other way around where we had this yield farming thing, and one of the Solana guys was like, "Wait a second, I don't want to be farming on base." And I'm like, "Yeah, you don't really get a choice, right? Like you put your like it just does the thing where the thing happens, right? Same thing with Bull Run. We've got this mini trading game. It happens on Blast. Doesn't matter if you like Blast or not. That's where it happens, right?
I've played that game. I had no idea it was on Blast.
Like it's on Blast, right? Yeah. So, these things are happening on different chains that you may never have interacted with, right? And, it's only going to expand. We're going to have another, 10 chains next year, right? Or 15 chains. And so, almost definitely balance the probabilities your first IBC transaction will be via Infinex.
Oh, interesting.
Like, because other than to like farm some airdrop, like Dimension or something, like who has installed one of those weird wallet? Like you just haven't, right? Like you're like, I've got MetaMask, it's bad enough, right? I don't need anything else. So all of this stuff happens in the background. You get access to on-chain protocols on various networks. You get bridged across to wherever you need to be, and you get access to the features you want. And the features that people on Binance want, right? Because again, we're not targeting enthusiasts, we're targeting the existing Binance user. They want storage. They want to store their assets, right? Safely. And for them, safe is not non-custodial. Safe is a vibe.
Right.
Safe is a feeling, right? They like CZ. He does weird...
Funds are Seifu.
Yeah, literally. Like, he does weird stuff. He's super rich. He's probably not going to rug them. Like, who knows, right? But it's a vibe. They don't care about custody, non-custody, whatever. They just want a vibe that feels safe. So this is the reason why it's so important that we have a broad cohort of patrons, right, in the Infinex ecosystem. Because how does someone who's on Binance get that vibe of safety? They get it from someone on Twitter. Right. Someone on Twitter is like, hey, I did a deep dive into the tech and it looks great and whatever. And they're like, I trust this guy. Yeah. He's a smart guy, right?
Passes his test, passes my test.
Yeah, exactly. Like Hasu's looked into it and, if he likes it, then I'm cool, right? Like he's smarter than me. I don't know, right? So like, sure, whatever. And so building up that vibe of safety that like, this is a safe place for me to store my assets is really critical, right? That's like table stakes in my mind. And there's never been a DeFi platform that has been able to accept all of the top 100 assets natively, non-custodially. It wasn't even possible until like this year, really, right? So there's a whole bunch of stuff that's come together, pass keys, turnkey, near chain signatures, all of this stuff has come together that's allowed us to do it. And then you go, okay, what else as a user? I've got some assets on this platform now. What do I want to do? I want to do spot trading. I just want to swap
Right.
You know, I want to buy some Mudeng, or I want to buy some Whiff, or I want to buy Pepe, or, you know, I want to buy some new meme coin or whatever. Or I want to buy Sky.
Right.
I heard that it's rebranding. It's cool. There's this rebalancing thing. Like, you know, let's buy some DeFi tokens, right? Whatever it is, it doesn't matter, right? So you've got some Bitcoin and you want to buy Sky.
Mm-hmm.
That's easy on Binance, right? Binance abstracts the chains away in an incredible fashion, right?
Mm-hmm.
So you can do that very easily on Binance. You can't do that very easily on DeFi.
Right.
But we're going to make it easy for people to do that. Yeah, sell 0.01 of a BTC and you know, buy some DeFi tokens. Cool.
Right.
So we do all of that. We add margin, we add some lending, we add some staking. And the best thing is each of these marginal things that we add, each new feature that we add, not only are there like 10 amazing solutions that exist for it, right? You know, whether it's LRTs, LSTs, you know, all kinds of stuff. But it costs us nothing.
Right.
The integration.
You don't develop it.
We're not building protocols. Protocols are already there, right?
DeFi already's built the value.
It's there.
You're just packaging it and selling it to the customer.
Exactly.
If you enjoyed all of that, then you'll absolutely love the Bankless newsletter. Join over 300,000 fellow readers, all for free. Click below to sign up.